is falling at the beautiful Kendal Calling Festival, but it's all good because just fresh from the calling out stage, Ist Ist just played. How was it?
I thought it was really good.
Warm.
It was warm, yeah. you know, because I just gave you my microphone. And my
Literally.
microphone was really warm.
We
so,
swapped mics, and now I'm like this, cowering like it's a cup of tea.
Yeah.
It was warm in there. There was a lot of people coming in.
There was,
playing and stepping inside the tent.
Whether that would have been the same if the weather was like it was 2 days ago, I don't know.
I think it was the dark brooding intensity of your set that brought everybody in. Nothing to do with the weather.
I suppose it's apt, isn't it, for the weather? It's certainly on message with the weather. So yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Manchester, we're synonymous. Even
we're
though we
used
come
to this.
Kendal and we just bring it with us.
We're used to this. Yeah. When we go down south and it's sunny and then we're playing the kind of music we are, yeah, a bit different.
How does that work?
Well, no, we just. It's just. Yeah, very sweaty.
Just sweatier.
Yeah.
It snowed when we played Hebden Bridge, didn't it?
It did snow when we played Hebden Bridge. Remember all that snow we had in January?
Did you
It
get
snowed
stuck?
then. No, we didn't.
In the
actually.
valleys?
No, we didn't. Which is a good thing, isn't it? But no,
We do bring the horrible weather.
Yeah, we do bring the weather with us. I suppose. Yeah, I suppose you could say we bring the weather with us. All the
like
music
Crowded
brings it.
House.
Yeah, always bring the
Always
weather.
bring the
Yeah,
weather.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So what's going on in your world at the moment? I know you've just got some tour dates, haven't you? For
Yes.
on this year. What's happening?
There's quite a lot going on, isn't there? We have got a tour coming up starting in September, going into October. We're going playing some new places we've not played for, well, ever really. We've got London, which we've played quite a few times. Then we're going to Bristol for the first time. Then we're going to Glasgow for the first time. Then we're going to play in York, and we're playing Birmingham and Bury. So
I saw that you're playing the Met in
we're
Bury.
playing the Met in Bury. We are.
September.
Yeah, September the 28th. Bury Met. Yeah. Bury seems to have a bit of connection. The studio we record at is in Bury. We're not even from Bury, so I don't know why there's this sort of connotation with Bury.
So where are you recording at the minute? Where's the studio?
It's called Big City Jacks. It's a fairly unassuming studio, to be honest, but it's got a really good live room, good desk, good sort of isolation rooms, good facilities. It just sort of works for us. Speaking of recording, we've got a live double EP called Sessions coming out as well.
I have to admit, I've had a little Google. Aquamarine vinyl, translucent green vinyl. It looks amazing.
I think aquamarine's like a posh word for blue, isn't it, really?
It's like a bluey green, and
Yeah.
I think the green is more green. But what makes translucent green different to green? I'm just not sure.
Yeah, you can see through it. Yeah, I
so
suppose
it's
that's
clear,
about it.
but with a green sheen.
Yeah.
Now
pretty
you're getting
much.
the lowdown on the
I think
vinyl.
so, yeah.
So it's a live double EP.
Yes, so we've got two EPs out. We've got Spinning Rooms, which is our first EP, which was released in January 2018. And then we've got Everything's Different now, which was... No, April 2018 was Spinning Rooms. January 2019 was Everything's Different now. Spinning Rooms sold out, and there's been a bit of demand for a repress. But when we put that on sale, we specified that it was limited to a certain amount of copies. So to then go and repress it seems... It almost seems a bit dishonest to the people who maybe bought that because they bought it because, well, this is one of 300, you know, and that's maybe part of the sort of appeal that they bought that because it's one of 300 copies. So, and then there's been demand to repress some of the Everything's Different now. So we thought we can kind of do two things. We can put them out on the same record and we satisfy that demand for a repress, but then how do we put a sort of a different slant or twist on it? So we just tracked them live. So they're blatantly still the same songs, but they are live versions.
But that's really nice because I think artists have this tendency to focus on exactly the perfection of a studio recording, where live is sometimes where people like yourselves excel.
I think that's where we exist, isn't it, really, in the live environment.
I'm looking at artists from Manchester like Slow Readers Club, Lines, and yourself, all incredible live artists with really like focused followings of people that literally follow you from venue to venue.
Yeah, we've seen that on tours. We saw that today. There was sort of the hardcore down the front. I mean, it might have been coincidence that they were at Kendal Calling anyway, and we happened to be there. But I've known people buy festival tickets when we've been playing places to come and watch us. Yeah, and that blows my mind. That's unbelievable.
But that's the thing, the freedom as an artist to say, okay, we're not afraid of having a live recording released.
No.
Because a lot of artists would shy away from that, thinking, oh, I'm a bit nervous about it not being perfect. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Surely that's the appeal.
Yeah.
We've released
We've
we've released a couple of recordings that were done on
like a handheld
Voice
device.
recorder, yeah.
Yeah, someone's in the crowd just held it up and did that.
That's not
It's-
Alex,
it's-
is it?
Alex was one of them at Gorilla.
It's just
He's
Alex-
notorious for that, isn't he? Really?
Alex is the famous bootlegger. If ever
Yeah.
you're at a gig and
It's
there's a
warts
voice
and all,
recorder
though,
on the
isn't it?
desk.
It's warts
Yeah.
and all, though, isn't it? It's like it's how it's experienced by the people who came to the gig, which
And and if that isn't what people want, then listen to the records. Fine, listen to the records, but that is where we are. I'm not saying we're not comfortable in the studio. We're exceptionally comfortable playing live. That is where we've kind of cut our teeth playing live. We're not afraid of putting that out there. We're confident in it. It always gets a good reception when we play live, so it makes total sense to do that.
it's because we're dead good live. That's why.
We'll be tracking half the album.
Dead good live.
Dead good
You'll
live.
be
Yeah.
tracking half the album live.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty
It's gonna-
much, yeah.
The bones of it is going to be live.
Yeah, we're writing an album at the moment. Well, no, we've a Seller Live. We've written an album. We've had that album written for quite a long time. But we're gonna go in the studio. Are we gonna go before tour or after it? What we
Don't know, I've seen it.
we're going to suck it and see with that. But yeah, we're going to go and record the album as soon as possible. But we've had quite a lot of studio sessions as a band. But when we did this live, when we did the sessions double EP, when we listened to it back, there was something more, I don't know, there was just something a bit more visceral about listening to them songs back, played live.
Played live.
And there is very much such a thing as sort of capturing the energy of a room.
Right.
So how many times have you heard a band where you like them for a long time, and then they put out an album or an EP, and you listen to it, and you're like, it's like listening to someone who's just gone in and gone, I'm going to record these songs that we do live, but done it in such a clinical way that there's nothing there.
There's nothing left, and when a lot of your set is about conveying that energy and conveying the sort of feeling of them songs, you need to capture that as best you can.
How do you capture that the best you can in the studio?
It-
Is there a
it-
specific way? Is it recording the songs live?
I just think of horrible shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You stand in a room as 4 people and you play them how you do in the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and
To do it live.
Put your guitar into
Perform
the
it
time.
live.
Yeah. You've got to be well drilled enough to know that when you go in, we're not saying when we say we're going to do it live, it doesn't mean the first take is the take you hear on the record. Absolutely not the case. And there will be overdubs. The vocals may well be overdubbed. The keyboard parts will be overdubbed. There might be bits where we listen back and realise we want an extra guitar on this or an extra vocal on this bit. That's fine. But you rehearse and you drill yourself to a standard where what you hear live very much transmits to the record. It is just a case of just sort of rehearsing and getting yourself to a point where we're happy with the songs, we're happy with what they're conveying.
You have to be a
And we'll
little
just
bit
capture that.
You have to be a little bit telepathic as well. Like, so you have to know what each other's going to do at a certain point.
That's just
I
knowing
mean,
each other
we
really
were
well.
talking about this on the way here today, where there's certain bits where you think, I can't remember actually everyone going, right, shall we do that bit at this bit? And it just happens because it happens.
That's just knowing each other.
Yeah,
There's so
because you
much
play
that
with
you
each other.
anticipate.
Yeah, we
Anticipate each other.
Yeah, we were talking about some of the demos that we've done, and we've got a song. We've only played it live once. It's a song called Wolves, and that's one of the songs that's on the album. And the way that the guitars and keyboards sort of do an introduction, and then the bass and drums come in at the same time. But the way in which the bass and drums come in, sort of, it's not kind of on the beat. It comes in slightly off beat. And we were talking about this. Adam and I in the car were talking about this literally on the way down. He said, "Did you and Joel ever sort of like have the conversation about doing that at the start of Wolves?" No, it just kind of happened, and it is a case of understanding each other.
In rehearsal, and then you come in at a certain point, and I think to myself, "Oh yeah, that sounds really nice," but I don't remember ever discussing.
No, and
that's the one, isn't it?
You're capturing something that's natural at that point, and there is an element of. It's almost obvious when people do discuss things down to the nth degree, and then
sound a bit scripted almost.
yeah, it's just it's the word you clinical. It's almost too clinical. It's almost too methodical. Whereas you want to retain some element of sort of, I don't know what's the word, a bit not
Rawness,
nature, but a bit of rawness, just something spontaneity. That's almost what we're trying to capture.
Like if we've got, let's say we've got, just for argument's sake, let's say we've got 50 songs.
Yeah.
I reckon about
Wow.
5 of them were ones where we've actually someone's come with something and gone, "What do you think of this?"
Yeah,
It normally just happens. Like
it's
just something that just happens.
And that's the instinct of probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's
exactly. And when you know as well. And there's an element of, right, we need to write this kind of song to fit in that part of the album. you know when you've got the album, you know.
But it's chopped down into ones like between. Do we want a nice soft one, or do we want something that's a bit, it's only that. It's not like we're going to write this song now to fit at track 4 because it's going to be a certain way,
So the album, are you thinking 2020 then?
Yeah, it'll be early
So
2020.
there's going to be a lot of hungry fans out there ready for this album now. They've been waiting for a long time. We've had some amazing support in Manchester as well. I know Dave Brown, Reading the Stars, has been championing you.
Dave was there from literally day one. He came to our first gig.
I think he's been to more gigs than I've been to.
Yeah, I think the gigs that he tells us about that he's been to, I don't recall them. Honestly.
The man's omnipresent.
Yeah,
what can I say?
yeah.
He likes it, doesn't he?
But Dave has championed us from day one when maybe a lot of other sort of outlets and blogs and places like that haven't done that. Whether that's because they're sort of dictated to that we'd like you to cover this band, we'd like to cover them, we'd like you to cover this type of music, we feel like this is the current thing, we feel like this is the next trend. Dave's always had the liberty of being able to do what he wants to do, when he wants to do it, and cover the band that he wants. And
I think that's the freedom.
There's something to be said about that.
Yeah. Being able to cover what you want when you want, and you don't have to think about, is this the right time? A lot of platforms do think of, is this the right time to build the profile of this?
He knows his stuff. He's such a knowledgeable guy, though.
It doesn't matter. That's the thing. It's like someone before actually said to us, said to me, what genres you put yourself in, new wave or post-punk or something. And the thing is that what we're doing isn't new. We're not, every single band who stands in front of your camera probably today will be like, we've reinvented the wheel. We haven't, at all. No. We haven't done anything new. All we're doing is something that's really good already, really well.
It's a very well loved Manchester kind of format, isn't it? The dark, industrial, brooding intensity.
It makes me really sad that there aren't any other bands doing that. Like all the other bands just seem to be like floating around, just like
flowery shirts and that.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of it. There's a lot of post-punk around at the moment. There's a lot of.
Can we name a few? I'm interested. Go on, tell me.
I can name a load. A lot of them in Yorkshire at the moment, actually.
Yeah, do you know what? No, you tell a lie. We played with a band when we played in Hull with a band called Auto Suggestion, and they were one of the coolest bands I've seen in quite a long time. And they were so unassuming as well. They didn't realise that they were good. I think they were saying something, it was like their second ever gig. And that they were from Hull.
No,
so
the first.
Do you want me to drop some tips? I can drop some tips. You've got Working Men's Club, you've got LD Moses, you've got Tree Boy and Ark. You've got Life, you've got some incredible bands doing raw, post-punk, politically motivated music that just literally hits the
Working Men's Club are about 15, aren't they?
Yeah.
Not quite, a bit older.
What,
I think they've been making music since they were about 11.
Yeah.
No, I've heard one of their songs, it was decent,
Hear the new one.
Well, they were really young.
They're from the Calder
guys.
Valley, they're from Topperton.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they played Hebden Bridge Trades Club the week we did in Venue Week, and I remember the promoter telling me that he had this local band on called Working Men's Club, and I thought he meant he was putting them on at the Working Men's Club. And he said, no, that's what they're called. I was like, I checked them out after that.
On the pulse musically, who are you really loving new music-wise in Manchester at the moment?
Jesus Christ, that's an odd one, isn't it?
WH Long.
Yes, fantastic album. Yeah. Incidental music is incredibly intelligent.
Black Sabbath, I like them.
Great Manchester band.
Hot Chip did a cover of Black Sabbath,
Really?
at Blue Dot Festival last
Really?
weekend. Went off.
Was it good?
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it. Sacrilege.
In Manchester at the moment, I don't know. Sometimes it seems incredibly ignorant, but you kind of focus on yourself.
You're in your own world.
Yeah, and that's not trying to be obtuse about it either. And that's not trying to sort of like carve your own path. That's just when the sort of times when we rehearse and when we gig, it tends to coincide with a lot of what other people are doing, and maybe you're slightly deprived of the scene as such, and you kind of hear about it secondhand because a lot of the time we're sort of holed away in our rehearsal room doing what we do.
You're in Bury by the sounds of it. Lost in Bury.
Yeah.
Possible album name. Lost in Bury.
I can't tell you any new bands from Bury.
There was actually one Manchester band called Cold Water Swimmers. I think that's what they were called.
Yeah, you were telling me about them, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You heard it here, Cold Water Swimmers. Check them out. Well, good luck with the recording.
Yes.
And you're hanging out in Bury. Bury
it's a place to be.
September. All those tour dates coming up.
Yeah.
Go find Ist Ist.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for the chat today, guys.
Cheers.
Brilliant stuff.
Thank you.